How far can a degree 100 Druid Paragon get on its own? Well, we got ours on round 116 and it was off to the races. Not even DDTs could really enter the screen, as his passive vines and storm trees were enough to keep them at the entrance. I was going to sell all our farms like I normally do, but I realized we'll probably need millions of dollars to maintain his wrathful state later on, as you can trade $10,000 per second for way more damage. So we filled the map with BRFs and let it run. The first bloon that made it to the root of all nature was the fortified bad on round 140. And it broke open before the first turn. The DDTs inside popped instantly, and the ZOMGs broke on their way back to the entrance. The only thing was this run took forever. It started fast, as even a single tree and the vines would keep the rounds moving, but once we got to the mid to late hundreds, fortified ZOMGs would get stuck at the start and take minutes to break open. In the 170s and 80s though, bads would actually make it around the first couple corners, and it was fun to see their insides get popped as they were traveling backwards along the track. But eventually, something got through, and it was the fortified bad on round 200. It was on the final stage before breaking open, covered in bandages, so I knew it was close. And there was one obvious thing we could do to crank up the damage. On the second try, we put the root of all nature into its wrathful state, and he broke the bad open just a few seconds later. The increase in damage was actually insane, so now it's time to micro him. We can't afford to keep him in red mode all the time, so I toggled him on anytime a fortified bad was in range, and if not, I just let him run until around 211, where a normal bad got through. This caught me off guard. I knew it would happen eventually, but I did not expect it to happen only 11 rounds later. We did manage to break it open at the back of the track, but the DDT zoomed through to the point where we didn't really have a chance of stalling them with the storm tree. So here on out, I switched him to red mode anytime a bad came on screen, fortified or not. What's impressive is that this already beat the Goliath Doom ship and Bombagon score on this test, as they got to rounds 202 and 208. We were sitting pretty, popping the bads incredibly fast when toggled on, but as we know, the bloons get stronger and faster with every round, and our money was starting to dwindle. In the 230s, we had over $14 million, and by around 250, we were down to $10.5 million. Not only are we spending $10,000 every tick that he's on, but we also can't generate money while he's in that state. At this point, we had spent over $10 million on the Druid, technically making him the most expensive Paragon we've ever run, easily putting the Goliath Doom ship and Smacked Gun to shame. But every run has to come to an end, and on round 254, a fortified bad got through even after a couple retries. The Druid Paragon did do a whopping 1.15 billion damage though.